Have you ever looked at that plant in the corner of your room and wondered if it's, trying to tell you something? Well, it turns out, beyond just needing water or a bit more sun, your houseplants might be decoding a hidden world of invisible dangers all around you. So let's dive in and uncover the secret language of the plants we live with every day.
Okay, to really get this, we need some perspective. Think about this. On average, we spend about 90% of our lives inside. That is a staggering amount of time breathing the same air in our homes, our schools, and our offices. And here's the real kicker. The air inside can be way, way dirtier than the air outside. We're talking up to 5 times higher concentrations of pollutants. It's this chemical soup of stuff, off-gassing from our furniture, our paint, even our cleaning supplies.
But what if the key to actually seeing all this invisible gunk, this first line of defense, was already in place? What if that plant on your windowsill could not only sense this pollution, but also tell you exactly what it is? This brings us to a really fascinating idea, seeing plants not just as pretty decorations, but as these dynamic, living, biological systems. They are constantly reacting to their environment, which, it turns out, makes them incredibly powerful living bioindicators.
So what even is a bioindicator? Well, it's basically any living thing that gives us clues about the health of the world around it. But here's what's so cool about a plant versus, say, an electronic sensor. A little plastic box gives you a number, right? A snapshot in time. A plant, on the other hand, shows you the cumulative biological impact of those pollutants over days, even weeks. It's a much richer, more complete picture of what's really going on.
And this is where it gets really, really cool. Plants don't just get sick in some generic way. Nope. They have what scientists call a diagnostic lexicon. It's a fancy way of saying they show very specific, readable symptoms for specific airborne chemicals. They're literally speaking a language if you know how to read it.
So check this out. On the left, you've got a perfectly healthy leaf. But on the right, that's a leaf that's been exposed to ozone, a super common indoor pollutant. You see those dense, almost freckle-like brown spots on the top? That's because the ozone is literally destroying the cell walls inside the leaf. It's a very clear, very distinct signature.
Now compare that to fluoride damage. It's a completely different pattern, right? Instead of spots all over, you get these pale, brown, almost burnt-looking bands right along the edges and the tips of the leaves. This is especially true for the new, young leaves.
And here's one more, pan, which is another nasty photochemical oxidant. This one is super unique. The damage shows up on the bottom of the leaf, and it gives it this weird, silvery, almost glassy look. I mean, come on, that's 3 different pollutants and 3 totally different, totally identifiable visual cues. The plants are talking.
This table just drives the point home. You can see how different plants are almost specialists. A petunia is a fantastic indicator for pan. A gladiolus will let you know really fast if there's fluoride in the air. They're like these little living litmus tests, each one tuned to a specific channel.
Okay, so plants can show us the danger, which is amazing in itself, but can they actually do anything about it? Oh, absolutely. This is where they switch from being passive sensors to active cleaning machines through a process called phytoremediation.
Phytoremediation is basically nature's own air filtration system. It's the incredible process where plants use their own biological machinery to literally pull harmful pollutants out of the air and break them down into something harmless.
So how does this magic actually work? Well, it's a 3-step journey. First, the nasty pollutants in the air enter the leaf through these tiny little pores called stomata, the same way the plant breathes in CO2. Second, the plant shuttles these toxins all the way down to its root system. And third, and this is the most important part, a whole army of microbes living in the soil around the roots gets to work, literally eating and degrading those harmful compounds.
This whole process has led scientists to this really powerful analogy, that plants act as a green liver for your home. Just think about that. Like your own liver filters toxins from your blood, the whole plant and soil system filters toxins from the air, metabolizing them into something safe.
And we can even give this natural process a boost. In this one just mind-blowing study, researchers took a protein from mammals, actually one that helps us process alcohol, and they put it into a common pothos IV. And the result? A super-powered plant that could suddenly break down nasty industrial chemicals like benzene and chloroform, stuff that most plants can't even touch.
This kind of genetic enhancement opens up a whole new world. We're moving away from just observing these subtle natural clues to actually designing plants that give us loud, clear, unmissable alerts. Welcome to the era of the engineered sentinel plant. So let's just compare for a second. A natural plant, it gives you hints, right? A few spots here, some wilting there, and it can take days to show up. An engineered sentinel plant is designed to scream at you. It gives you a rapid, vivid color change, turning your ficus into an active, real-time alert system for your home.
And scientists have this whole new toolkit to build them. They're actually hacking a plant's natural stress proteins, retraining them to detect things like toxic pesticides, and then trigger a bright red color change as an alarm. The ultimate goal here is to stack a bunch of these sensors into a single plant, creating a kind of botanical watchdog that could monitor your home's air and water for dozens of contaminants 24/7 for years.
Now, this all sounds absolutely amazing, almost like science fiction. But before we all run out looking for genetically engineered ferns, let's just take one step back and have a little reality check about the regular old houseplants we have in our homes today.
Because this is the question we all really want to know, right? Is my snake plant, my spider plant, my fiddle leaf fig, is it actually making a real difference in my living room?
Well, a lot of the hype you hear comes from this famous NASA study from way back in 1989. But here's the thing you have to know. That study was done in small, sealed, completely airtight chambers. There was no ventilation, and they pumped in crazy high levels of pollutants. Your home, on the other hand, is a big, drafty space with constant air exchange from windows and doors. This just dilutes any effect that a few plants might have. So the real-world impact, it's much, much smaller.
And, we have to be honest about the potential downsides. If you don't take care of them properly, houseplants can sometimes introduce their own problems. Overwatering can lead to mold in the soil. Flowering plants can release pollen. Big leaves can collect a ton of dust. And of course, you can get pests. So it's definitely not a set-it-and-forget-it solution.
So what's the path forward? It's really about enhancing nature, not just relying on it passively. A normal plant gives you a baseline effect. A well-maintained plant, one that's clean and healthy, does a bit better with fewer risks. But the really exciting frontier is something called bioaugmentation. That's where you pair a totally normal plant with specially engineered microbes in the soil. And that combination can boost the system's ability to gobble up pollutants by up to 30 times.
And all of this leaves us with one final big question to think about. We talk all the time about smart homes, right? And we usually picture them full of electronic gadgets and sensors. But what if the truly smart home of the future isn't just about tech, but about seamlessly integrating these intelligent, living systems into our daily lives? A future where our plants aren't just decor, but active, communicative partners in keeping us healthy. What would that world look like?